Now, I know I'm a bit late with talking about this, especially considering the fact that a week away from now, actually, would be a week away. Well, considering the fact that next weekend is Thanksgiving weekend, and I'm still talking about horror movies that I watched back in fucking October. Yeah, kind of weird. It'd be like if I was talking about Christmas movies in January. Anyways, I did mention there was going to be a part 2, maybe a part 3. There's only going to be a part 2, and that is this part right here, which I'm talking about 6 different movies. And to go through each one I'm going to be talking about, let's just go down the list. It's going to be Babysitter Killer Queen, Somebody's in Your Home, Nobody Sleeps in the Woods Tonight, The Conjuring Part 3, Banana Splits the Movie, and Halloween Kills. Now, the reason why I'm not talking about so many movies and why we put it all together, it's just 11 films, horror films that I watched back in October, is mainly because, well, for all of those, like, B-listed horror films that are out there, and there's 1,000 of them, a lot of times horror films just kind of, how do I put this? I don't want to say they're boring, but it's just that they just don't really grab me that well. They don't keep my attention for too long. And it's either like, I always feel the horror films never have enough death in them. That the kill count is never high enough, and sometimes, like, the first death won't happen until, to be a good horror film, the first death should happen in the first 10 minutes. Oh, I'm sorry, not 6 films, actually 7 films. I just remembered I also watched Death Day to You, which that was, yeah, we'll get to that in a moment. All right, so let's get into these films, and just so you know, I am going to spoil the fuck out of these films. I am not doing a spoiler-free thing, so if you haven't seen any of these, go and watch them. Yeah. Also, I'm not good at really, time-stamping, so, yeah, that's not going to be happening either. So, if there's a film you like and want to hear me talk about it, I suppose just keep on going back and forth in the video until you find it. Oh, and before I forget, what I forgot to do is my last video, which was my review for Cyber 009 Volume 5. Subscribe to the channel and hit that notification icon. Make sure the bell is a ring-a-ding-dingin'. Okay, let's start with the first film. The first film is Netflix's Babysitter Killer Queen. Now, this film, fucking fantastic. I've always loved the horror comedy genre because it takes 2 aspects of comedy and melds them together. Because horror already is a type of comedy to me. Granted, it's a very, like, dark joke kind of comedy, and you have to have a really messed up mind in order to find half the shit in that funny. Some people probably don't find it funny, but I find it fucking hilarious because, let's be honest here, the way people act in horror films, they would not act like that in real life. I'd be hard-pressed to think anybody would act this fucking stupid. Okay, so Killer Queen happens a few years later, like about 4 years later from the events of the first Babysitter movie. And turns out that the girl that homeboy liked, well, she knows all about the whole, like, blood cult and the whole ritual shit, and she wants to get in on it, which she brings 2 more people into the fray, and all the people that fucking died, the cult members that is, from the first fucking film, come back. And there's a nice little redemption arc for the I guess you call her the main villain of the first film. Also, it's really heavily implied that the dude had sex with this film's red herring. By that I mean, this film makes you believe that there's one character that she is going to be the villain that's going to lead up to her, but all in all, it's just a red herring. Alright, second film, which I really don't remember too much about it, to be honest, would be there's somebody in your home or in your house, which is also a Netflix original movie. And this one, even though this and the Babysitter films are both taking place in modern time, this one seems to be like it just wants to fully focus on just being there in the modern age. Meaning that, the masks that are created to look like people are generated through 3D printing, and there's aspects of social media being utilized in order to single individuals out and such. Now, the difference between this and the Babysitter films relied on a bit of like 1960s, 1970s horror camp, or campy horror aesthetics to it, and some grindhouse features as well, or a feature-esque kind of feel of the grindhouse nature, I would call it. Especially considering you get the backstories of a lot of the cult members in the second film of Babysitter. But anyways, I'll stop talking about that because I'm trying to talk about somebody's in your home. Now, the one good thing about this film is who the main villain is, or who you think he is, and who it actually is a nice little twist. That's the only good thing about the film. Other than that, this film definitely felt like it was a bit of a waste of time, and its production... Actually, I don't want to go and talk about production, because sometimes when something looks really cheap, I like it more. Other times I like it less. My brain's weird like that. But this felt like it could have been a singular Supernatural episode. Just saying. Okay, next film, Nobody Sleeps in the Woods Tonight, which I believe is it's a Netflix original. It's also a Polish film, I believe. I'm not gonna try to attempt how to say the Polish, version of it, of the title. This film is fucking great. Holy shit, this film is awesome. Like, this is what I would call a good fucking horror movie. And a good, not just a good creature feature, but also a good slasher film as well. I have yet to see the second film, but knowing what I know from just the written premise that was on Netflix, I'm bummed out. I don't want to watch it. Fucking being honest there. I don't want to watch it because I'm just bummed out by it. But yeah, good fucking film. Probably the best moment is when that cop gets fucking cleaved in half by an axe. That shit was fucking badass. Holy shit. And the nerdy guy with the glasses. Nerdy guys always have to be wearing glasses, huh? His 7 Deadly Sins of horror films was a peak conversation moment, because anybody that loves the horror genre, that has respect for the horror genre, will know that there are just shit that you just never do in those situations, which is why, horror films are the way they are versus how real life would be. And no, I don't remember what the 7 Deadly Sins of horror movies, as this movie had put it, were. I know people have their own interpretations of the 7 Deadly Sins for horror films, but that's neither here nor there. All right, now for the fourth film, and the fourth film would be The Conjuring 3. The Devil Made Me Do It. Fucking great film. Holy shit. You know, I'm afraid to say this. I thought The Conjuring sucked. Fucking snooze fest. Okay? I absolutely fucking hated it, but I stuck with it to the end. Conjuring 2, although I wasn't horrified, I thought it was fucking hilarious, and I thought it had a really heartwarming storyline. Conjuring 3, once again, I don't find it scary. I found some scenes to be really funny, even though they probably were never meant to be funny. But the overall storyline, or rather, I'd say the building upon of already established characters, Ed and Lorraine Warren, or Warren, I believe. I think I fucked that up, didn't I? I'm pretty sure I did. Pretty sure it's Warren, not Lauren. The fact that you think that, you know, their characters would have already been just, there would be nothing else to really add upon that. And this film adds even more up upon that as well. Especially considering the fact that, you know, considering the fact that, like, Lorraine essentially meets, you know, her perfect fucking match, and by that I mean someone else that can also enter into these metaphysical realm, just like how Lorraine can. And the fact that, you know, since the two of them are getting up there in age, Ed is no longer as physically capable as he once was in the first and second film. Especially considering the fact that I can't remember if he had it was congestive heart failure he was having, or a heart attack or whatever, or it was stroke, but it had something to do with his heart. And this film, more or less, gets its audience to care about the Warrens. Also, you do kind of care about what's happening, you know, with the guy that was convicted of murder. They got possessed by a demon. You know, that whole thing's all just fine and dandy and all. But I really feel like if it wasn't for the Warrens, this film would have fell flat on its face, or it would have just been kind of like brushed underneath with all those other possession films that are out there. And I really, really do feel that. Okay, so next film number 5, I believe we're on, and that would be Halloween Kills, which I went to go see in theaters. I didn't go to the theaters when it came out. I went to go see my sister for a week. Part of the weekend when I got back, I wanted to go see it, and I was not disappointed. I know a lot of people. I know there are people that went to this and they fucking hated it. And there's people who went to this and they fucking loved it. I went to this and I fucking loved it because I got what I went for. I went to see a movie, wanting to see Michael Myers just catching fucking bodies, and that's what he fucking did. He caught fucking bodies. And I hear that there's going to be the final closing chapter for this franchise next year, or maybe in 2023, called Halloween Ends. And how they're going to wrap everything up, I have no idea. But what I do know is that I wonder is how horrified what's her name's going to be when she finds out that her daughter got fucking clapped. Just saying. Alright, for sixth film, that's the Banana Splits movie, which is very loosely based off of a TV show by the same name from 1960s. And this one, I want to call it the creature feature, but at the same time, I feel like it's also a cybertronic menace film. By that I mean, like, creature feature because of the fact that, you know, these are basically like AI animatronics going haywire and killing people. And the deaths in this film are fucking hilarious. Because the shit is just way too fucking campy. But it's campy in a good way. Now you're probably thinking, what do you mean campy in a good way, Justin? What the fuck does that mean? Okay, campy in a good way is where you know the story is not trying to take itself way too seriously, and that's what makes it good. Because when the story itself is not trying to take itself too seriously, then the campiness can be enjoyed. But if the story is really trying to hammer in how serious it is, then the campiness, maybe it's enjoyable, maybe it isn't. It all just depends on each individual's perspective, which is probably why certain films that should be up there as the worst fucking films in history are not, while others are but shouldn't be. Like, I really think a lot of people are wrong when they say that Plan 9 for Outer Space is one of the worst films ever. I mean, have you fucking watched Manos in the Hands of Fate? Like, dear God. I wouldn't even show that film to my worst enemies. Like, fuck. Shit's horrible. But anyways, I digress, okay? Yeah, good film. The Banana Splits movie. And movie number 7, Death Day to You. A direct next day follow-up for the movie Death Day. Now, Death Day, I thought it was a fantastic film. When it was described to me as, I mean, when I heard about it, I heard that it was described as a horror film version of Groundhog's Day, I was like, okay, I gotta check this out. And I was not disappointed. Granted, some parts of the film were kind of stupid, but the majority of it was pretty good. This film, however, fucking sucked. At first, I was intrigued because the same shit was happening to another character who actually had a very, very minor role in the first film. Only thing the second film does, it actually explains. Okay, it does something that, at times I feel fucks up storylines, and that is, it explains the magic. It gives us the man behind the curtain moment, and it's like, oh, the reason why you're going through, this time loop over and over again was because of this little experimentation that I had. Like, if that was just not explained, and then like this phenomenon happened again to another person, and they had to find their own way out of the time loop, and then we had a Death Day like anthology to where each single Death Day was just centered around a different person. Maybe they all had connections to each other, and it was mentioned at some point later on in like future films, but this ruins that entirely. This fucking Wizard of Oz fucking moment ruins the whole fucking thing. And that's why I hate the goddamn film. Because it could have been something so much better. Oh, also, going back to Halloween Kills, the best thing about this movie is that, well, one of the things that, not the best, I'm sorry, one of the better parts of the film was the fact that there is little Easter egg nods to Season of the Witch, which is the third film in the franchise. Because, I'm not sure you guys know this or not, but Halloween, at one point in time, was supposed to be an anthology piece. that the whole thing with Michael Myers was a storyline only supposed to last for 2 films, then every film from 3 and onwards was going to be their own stories. Maybe some films were going to be 2-part films, others just a single film, single part. So I'm glad that they gave it that nod, that the 3rd film isn't just being regarded as like the redheaded stepchild, you know, of the franchise, that it's being taken with some seriousness. And if you haven't seen the 3rd film, if you're thinking that, oh, this is just gonna be fucking stupid because it has nothing to do with Michael Myers, actually give it a shot. The 3rd Halloween film is pretty fucking solid, and the writer director of the film or whatever, that's actually a lot of guts for them to kill off children. No, I'm serious. They kill off children in that film. Yeah. Okay. So those are the 7 films that I watched. What are your guys' opinions on the films? If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and make sure you hit that notification icon. Make sure the bell is a ring-a-ding-dinging. That way you'll know when I put out another video. And next film mashup videos I'm going to be talking about are going to be Christmas films. Because, you know, the season is kind of already upon us. I don't think Christmas should be alive in November, but it fucking is. And I've been ignoring the fuck out of it. But next week, not this week coming up, next week, I'm going to start delving into the spirit of Christmas. Because to me, Christmas doesn't really start, or rather, the Christmas season doesn't really start until the week after fucking Thanksgiving. So yeah. Alright, I'll chat to you guys later.